Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. In this video, we are going to break down the APPSC Degree Lecturer Computer Science and Computer Application previous paper of the year 2020. So this is the paper 2. So there are actually 150 questions in this paper. So we will cover the first 75 questions in part 1 and the remaining 75 in part 2. I will explain complex concepts in simple terms and provide tips and tricks to help you ace the exam. So whether you are a beginner or an experienced one in solving the question paper, this video is for you. So let's start the video. Which of the following is not an evolutionary software development model? So here all the incremental, win-win spiral model, concurrent development model, all are evolutionary software development model except the RAD model, rapid application development model. So 4 is the correct answer. In software engineering, which of the following is not a valid type of change that is encountered during the support phase? In software maintenance, common types of changes include correction, adoption, and prevention. Avoidance is not a type of change during support. It is more of a proactive strategy used in the design phase to prevent defects. So option 4 is the correct answer. Next. A client-server application should be developed preferably using which model? So using the concurrent model. Concurrent model is ideal for client-server applications because it allows multiple processes, that is clients and servers, to execute simultaneously. It handles real-time communication effectively. Other options like spiral and incremental are useful but not as suitable for concurrent processing. Next. Which of the following is not a valid category of a software measurement metric? Valid metric categories include size-oriented metrics, function-oriented metrics, and module-oriented metrics. So here, external function pointer metrics is not a valid category. Option 4 is the correct answer actually. So this is a initial key. So there are some modifications in the initial key, right? So which of the following statements is false regarding spiral model? The spiral model is an iterative software development model focused on risk assessment and customer feedback. Customer communication is essential at every phase to ensure requirements are correctly implemented. The other statements correctly describe the spiral model. So option 4 is the false one. Which of the following statements best justifies the difference between win-win spiral model and spiral model? So that is the option 4. It defines a set of negotiation activities at the beginning of each pass around the spiral. So to know about this, the difference between we must know about the difference between spiral model and win-win spiral model. Win-win spiral model is an extension of the spiral model. The win-win spiral model is essentially an enhanced version of the spiral model that ensures all stakeholders win by addressing conflicts early through negotiation, making it more suitable for large and complex projects with multiple decision makers. It introduces the stakeholder negotiation to ensure all parties agree on the software requirements before development proceeds. So option 4 is the correct answer. Which of the following is false regarding software testing? So here the incorrect option is option 1, not option 3. Why? Because while testing does identify errors, its primary goal is to ensure software quality and reliability. The phrase here, intent of finding an error, gives a negative meaning. So testing is about verification and validation, not just finding fault. So option 1 is the correct answer. Next one, 8th one. Which of the following are false statements? So given the statements about the verification and validation and about the testing and debugging. So what are the false statements that we have to find out? So here, validation means are we building the product right? So this is incorrect. Validation actually means are we building the right product in the given option. Next one. Testing and debugging are the same activities. So this is also incorrect because testing finds defects whereas the debugging fixes them. So here only options 2 and 3 are false. Option 1 is correct. Next one. Match the following. So white box testing focus on internal logic and structures. So white box testing focus on internal logic and structures, whereas the black box testing evaluate functionality without knowing internal code. So black box testing is also called as a black box testing. And basic path testing, it measures the code complexity using cyclomatic complexity. So these are the correct options. A1, B2, C3. Next. Which of the following statements are false? So here only option 2 is false. So test should be planned long before testing begins is one of the testing principles. And the second one is white box testing focus on the functional requirements of the software. So only option 2 is false. Why? The statement 1 is true. So planning ensures better defect detection and efficient testing, whereas the statement 2 is false. White box testing evaluates code structure, not the functional requirements. Next one. 11th one. So which of the following statements are true? So here both the option 1 and 2 are true. So given the question on the cyclomatic complexity. Cyclomatic complexity for a flow graph G is defined as P plus 1, where P is the number of predicate nodes in G. The number of regions in a flow graph corresponds to the cyclomatic complexity. So here statement 1 and 2 both are true. Right. In a relational database table, a row is called as a tuple. A tuple represents a single record in a database table. Attribute refers to a column, whereas the field is a synonym for an attribute, and feature is not a standard database term. So option 4 is the correct answer. ER model is an example of. So it is an example of the conceptual design. ER model is used at the conceptual design phase to represent data and relationships. Logical design. So logical design involves converting the ER model into a relational schema, whereas the physical and low-level design focus on implementation and storage details. Which of the following SQL commands is used to delete a table from database? That is a drop command. So first of all, we must know about the different commands here. So drop means it will completely remove the table and its structure, whereas delete command removes rows but keeps the table structure, and truncate command removes all the rows but keeps the table, whereas the purge is not a SQL command for table deletion. So option 1 is the correct answer. In a relation database, the permitted set of values of an attribute is called. It is called a domain. Domain defines the possible values an attribute can take. For example, age can be between 1 to 100, whereas range is more general and refers to numerical limits. Set is not a specific database term in its context. So option 1 is correct. In relational database, which of the following is not a valid reason to specify null value? So null means, first of all, what is meant by null? Null represents missing or unknown data. So what are the reasons for using the null? So the value must be unknown. That means if the data is not available yet, then we will use the null value. And if the value exists but it is not available, then also we will use the null value. And if the value is not applicable, that means the attribute doesn't apply to the record, then also we will use the null value. So value invalid is incorrect because null is not used for invalid values. An invalid value would typically be rejected by constraint. So option 4 is the correct answer. Which of the following is not a valid constraint in data model? That is virtual constraint. Virtual constraint. So here key constraints means it ensures unique identification of records, whereas the schema-based constraints define the structure and rules of data. Similarly, additive integrity constraints ensure that primary keys are not null. Virtual constraints do not exist in standard database modeling, so it is not a valid constraint. In a SQL query, underscore matches dash number of characters, whereas person matches how many number of characters. Underscore represents a single character, whereas the person represents 0 or more characters. 19th question. Which of the given options best describes the truthfulness of the following statement? That is, functional dependency is a constraint between two sets of attributes of a database relation. A weak entity can participate in all relationships. So here statement 1 is true and 2 is false. Why? Because functional dependency is a constraint between two sets of attributes where one set determines the other, which is true. And weak entities require a strong entity for identification. They cannot participate in all relationships independently. So it is a false. Next one. Which of the following statements are false? So given statement 1, a database state that doesn't obey the domain constraint may be invalid state. In relational database, the delete operation can violate referential integrity constraint. So statement 1 is false. A database state that doesn't obey the domain constraint is not valid, whereas the deletion operation can violate the referential integrity constraint if a referential key is deleted without cascading or handling dependencies. 21st. A non-prime attribute is a member of the candidate key of a database relation. Tuples in a relation do not have any particular order. So statement 1 is false because a non-prime attribute is not a member of a candidate key. Candidate keys consist of only prime attributes. Whereas statement 2 is true. Tuples in a relation have no specific order in relation database. Next, 22nd. In Unix, which of the following files is a text-based database of users that may log into system? It is the option 1, etc password. It contains a list of system users with their details like username, user ID, and home directory. Whereas the second option, that is etc shadow, stores the encrypted passwords, and etc fstab stores the file system mount point, and etc host will store the static host name to IP matrix. Next, 23rd. In Unix, change mode command is used to. So this is used to change the file permissions. So it is used to modify file access permissions in the Unix, whereas the ls is used for the listing process, and ps is ls is used for listing files, and ps for listing process, and password for changing the password. In Unix, the priority of a running process can be changed using which command? So using the nice command. The nice command sets the priority of a running process. Which page replacement policy suffers from delayed anomaly? So that is the FIFO, first in first out. Delayed anomaly occurs in FIFO page replacement, where increasing the number of frames can lead to more page faults. Next, 26. In dining philosophers problem, which of the following is an asymmetric solution to deadlock avoidance? So that is option 3. Deadlock in the dining philosophers problem occurs when all the philosophers pick up one chopstick and wait indefinitely for the second one. So here the asymmetric solution prevents this by ensuring that some philosophers pick the left chopstick first while others pick up the right chopstick first, avoiding the circular way. 27. Which of the following statements is false? So from the given statement, the third is false. That is, ready queue is always implemented using the FIFO strategy. 28. So which of the following is false? So a process becomes a program when an executable file is loaded to a memory. So this one is a false one. So here the true statements are physical address is not directly stored in the memory address register. So instead logical address are translated. And the second one, process stack contains temporary data such as the function calls, local variables, etc. And user level threads are faster to create and manage than kernel level threads. So these are correct ones. Next, 29. Which of the following statements are false? A thread comprises a thread ID, program counter, register set, and a stack. And statement 2, user threads are managed without kernel support. So here both of them are false. Next, 30th one. So match the following. So given here two sections, critical region, working set, deadlock, wait and signal, and principle of locality, circular wait, force monitor, and mutual exclusion. So here the critical region matches the mutual exclusion, that is the option 4. Why? Because the critical region ensures mutual exclusion, preventing multiple processes from accessing shared resource at the same time. Whereas the working set matches the principle of locality. The working set represents the set of pages a process is actively using. It is related to the principle of locality in memory management. And the deadlock refers to the circular wait. Circular wait is one of the necessary conditions for deadlock to occur. And wait or signal is linked with the host monitor, option 3. Because in host monitor concept, wait and signal are used for process information. So here the correct answer is A4, D1, C2 and D3. So option 4 is the correct answer. Next. Which of the following statements are false? So here only statement 2 is false. Here the statement 1 is false. So here the statement 1, a dispatcher is a module that gives control to a process selected by the scheduler, but it doesn't transfer the control itself. Whereas the convoy effect occurs when short processes are forced to wait behind a long running process, leading to higher CPU and resource utilization issues. So option 1 is the false one. Which of the following statements are true? Modification to a page table is only possible in kernel mode. A thread running in critical section may get context switched. So both statement 1 and 2 are true. Modification to a page table is only possible in kernel mode because it involves changing memory mappings, which is a privileged operation. Whereas a thread running in the Critical section may get context switched if it is preempted by the OS, which can lead to a synchronization issues. Which cache mapping function suffers from problem of crashing or low bit ratio? The answer is direct mapping. Direct mapping suffers from low hit ratio due to its fixed placement strategy, which can cause frequent cache misses. Which of the following modes of input-output data transfer does the peripheral interact directly with the memory? So the answer is direct memory access. Direct memory access allows peripherals to transfer the data directly to or from memory without involving the CPU, making it the most efficient for large data transfer. So given the following table for a program trace experiment, to calculate the performance of the processor in terms of MIPS, given that it executes a million instructions on 300 MHz processor. So here we have to know the formula here for average CPI, clock traces per instruction. So here the average CPI is equals to 1 into 0.55. So it is 55%, right? So 1 into 0.55 plus 2 into 0.22 plus 4 into 0.14 plus 8 into 0.09. Okay. So if you perform this multiplication and addition, then we will get the 2.27. It is the CPI average. So for to calculate the MIPS here, we have the formula that is clock speed by CPI average. So that is the clock speed is given as 300 MHz. So 300 by 2.27. So this will give the approximately 132 as the answer. So 132 is the correct answer. Which of the following is the runtime of 01 knapsack problem using the dynamic programming? Assume n is the number of items and w is the capacity of knapsack. The 0 by 1 knapsack problem uses dynamic programming requiring a table of size n plus 1 into w plus 1. So filling this table takes big O of nw time as we process each item for each week. So big O of nw is the correct answer. Next. Tournament sort is also known as. It is also known as the heap sort. Tournament sort is a variation of the heap sort that builds a selection tree. Which of the following is a non-comparative sorting algorithm? So we have two types of sorting algorithms actually, comparative sorting algorithm and the non-comparative sorting algorithm. Comparative sorting algorithms have quick sort, net sort and heap sort that compare elements directly. Whereas the non-comparative sorting algorithms like the radix sort, counting sort, bucket sort the elements based on the properties like digit position or frequency. So here the radix sort is the correct answer. What is the length of the longest common subsequence of ABC, BD, AB and BDC, ABA? So here given two subsequences here, ABC, BD, AB and BD, CA, BA. So we have to find out the common subsequence from the given two strings here. So, longest common subsequence algorithm helps find the longest subsequence between the two strings. So here's the two strings here. So in order to find out the LCS, we must make sure that there is no crossovers here. So we will match the A here. So the A with the nearby string. So in the nearby there is no letter E, right? So next we will check the B. So B nearby is B. Next C nearby here is C. And the next D nearby is this one. And for D there is no nearby. And for A this is the nearby one. So here the length is 4. So there are 4 matches found here. You may think of that we can match it otherwise also, right? Suppose given the same string we are writing here, BD, AB, followed by the BDC, ADA. So here, if you match this one A with this one and B and C. So here, see, there should not be any crossovers here. The lines should not cross each other. That is the main property. Simply we can solve like this one. Otherwise, we have to draw the matrices and follow the algorithm, which is a time-taking task during the exam. So this is the proper thing and easiest thing to find out the answer. Shell sort is a generalization of which one? It is generalization of the insertion sort. Shell sort is the optimized version of the insertion sort. It sorts elements of at gaps first, reducing the number of swaps required in letter passes. When the gap size reduces to 1, it behaves like insertion sort. Which of the following statements about DFS is false? The space complexity of DFS is higher than BFS. DFS uses big O of mod V plus mod E. So this is the space complexity of the mod E and mod V. So this is the space complexity since it stores all nodes in the queue, whereas the DFS uses big O of mod V space in recursive calls, and BFS generally has a higher space complexity than the DFS. So the given statement is a false one. The DFS is used to perform a sort of a directed acyclic graph. So that is called as the topological sort. A topological sorting arranges nodes in a directed acyclic graph such that for every directed edge U to V, U appears before V. DFS-based topological sort uses post-order traversal to order the vertices. Which tree is a binary search tree with one extra bit of storage per node? That is a red-black tree. Red-black trees are self-balancing binary trees that use an extra bit per node, that is a color red or black, to maintain the balance, ensuring big O of login, insertion, deletion, and search tags. The input size n becomes large enough, which worst case running time becomes big O of n log n. That is a MED-sort. MED-sort is a divide and conquer technique that recursively divides the array into halves and merges them back in big O of n log n time complex. What is the result of the given prefix expression? So we will take an empty stack first of all, and we start inserting the values from the right hand side. The value is 5, 5, 10, and 5. We will write only the numbers here. Next we will apply all the operators one by one. So what is the next operator available here? Divided by. First we will consider the division operator. So 10 by 5. So 10 by 5 is 2. So we will insert that into the stack. And 5, 5. So now next what is the operator here? Plus operator. So pop these top two elements, that is 2 and 5 from the stack, and perform the addition of these two elements. So 2 plus 5 is 7. So after performing the addition, again we will insert it into the stack. So 7 and 5. So the last one is the minus operator. So pop these two elements from the stack and perform the minus operation of these two elements. So now 7 minus 5 is equals to 2. So it is the answer. Okay. So which of the following is not a linear data structure? So tree is not a linear data structure. Linear data structures examples are array, linked list, and queue. So here data is stored sequentially, whereas in the non-linear data structure, data is stored in a hierarchical manner. For example, trees and graphs. A normal queue is implemented using an array of size. Maximum size gets full when. So here the correct answer is where equals to maximum size minus 1. A B tree of order 4 and height 3 will have a maximum of dash keys. So it has maximum of to find out the maximum number of keys, we have the formula m power h minus 1. Okay. So here a B tree of order m means each node can have at most m children and m minus 1 keys. Suppose this is the B tree node. So if there are m children, then there are m minus 1 keys. Right? So if there are three nodes here, then it will have 3 minus 1 number of keys, right? So here 3 nodes and 3 minus 1, that is 2 keys are there, which will point to the next child nodes. So here the maximum keys are m power h minus 1. So here the m value is order of the B tree, that is the 4, and h is the height. So height is the 3 here. So 4 cube minus 1, that is 64 minus 1, which is equals to 63. So answer is the 63. The running time of the Kruskal's algorithm on a graph G of V, E is. Kruskal's algorithm solves edges in big O of E log E. Using the union find data structure, each union operation runs in big O of log V. So here, since we process the E edges, the final complexity is big O of E log V, that is the option 4. The next one. So what is the output of the following sequence of operations on a stack? So push of 10. So we'll take an empty stack and we'll push all these elements and pop the elements based on the given sequence. So we'll take the empty stack. So in the empty stack, so what we are pushing here? So push the value 10. Next push the value 25. Now pop the element. So pop means we'll pop the top of the element, top of the stack here. So top is 25. So 25 is popped now. So 25 is not available there in the stack. Next we will push 6 and then pop the value. So the top of the stack is 6. We will pop the element. So 6 is popped here. Next. So we will write the same stack here. So 6 and 25 are popped. So here the 10 is the only element in the stack. Next, push 5 and push 10. So now perform the 3 consecutive pop operations. So now pop the top of the stack, that is 10. Next pop the next element, which is 5, and pop the last element, so which is the 10. So this is the sequence followed. That is the option 1 is the correct answer. So here convert the step by step here into postfix to infix. Sorry, this is the in-fix notation given here. We have to convert that into postfix notation. So postfix means the operator will come at the ending. So first the operand will come and then operator will come. Okay. So here a plus b by c plus d. So for this one, so it will become ab plus and c plus d becomes cd plus. And the division operator will come at the end. So ab plus cd plus and at the end the division operator will come. Next, d into e. So d into e can be written as de into. Right. So the minus operator between these two elements will be so the minus operator between these two elements result in the minus operator at the end of the expression, that is here. So AB plus CD plus divided by DE into minus. So this is the correct answer. So option 4 is the correct answer. Next. In B3, data is stored in internal or leaf nodes. B plus tree is not necessarily a balanced tree. So here only statement 1 is true. So in a B tree, data is stored in both internal nodes and leaf nodes. Whereas in a B plus tree, all data is stored only in the leaf nodes, while internal nodes only store keys. So B plus tree are always balanced, meaning statement 2 is false. The next question, 53. Find the number of trees that are possible if we construct a possible binary search tree by successfully inserting 4 distinct terms into an initial empty tree. So here for number of binary search trees, we have some formula here. So that is the 2n cn by n plus 1. So this is the formula. 2n cn by n plus 1. So this is the formula here. So we have to substitute the 4 in the n value. 8c4 by 5. So if you substitute this value, we will get the answer. So here, if you perform the operation here, we will get the 2 into 7. 2 7s are 14. So 14 is the correct answer. Next, which of the following represents a binary maxi? So here the binary maxis follows some property here, that is the parent node must be greater than or equal to its child nodes. Okay, so the option 1 satisfies this given property. So how we will check this one. So 25 followed by 14 and 16. So maxis follows the property that each parent node must be greater than or equal to its children. So here 25 is greater than its children. Next, 13 and 10. So 13 and so here the 14 is greater than or equals to 13 and 10. Next, 4 and 12. So 4 and 12. So these two are also, so here also parent node is greater than the child nodes. So here the option 1 is the correct answer. So it is satisfying the maxi property. Next. In Java, which of the following cannot be inherited by subclass from a superclass? So that is called as a constructors. Fields, methods, and nested class can be inherited, whereas the constructors are not inherited because each class needs to define its own constructor. Which of the following is not a keyword in Java? So it is a size of operator. Size of is a keyword in C and C++, but not in Java. Java doesn't have size of because it handles the memory management automatically. Which of the following statements are true? So here the statements, both the statements 1 and 2 are true. In the statement 1, Java constructors initialize the objects and their name must match the class name is true, and the inheritance allows new classes to be created by extending existing ones. Which of the following is a valid constructor declaration? For the class named as employee in Java, a constructor must have the same name as the class and should not specify a return type. So here employee space employee E is a valid copy constructor in Java. Next, which of the following is true? So here both the 1 and 2 are true because structures allocate separate memory for each member, whereas unions allocate shared memory, meaning all members use the same memory location. So this is the basic difference between the structures and unions. Next one. Which of the following operators cannot be overloaded in C++? That is a scope resolution operator. It is used to access the global variables or class members and cannot be redefined. Next, which of the following is not true about the this keyword in Java? So here this can be used to refer to instance variables of the current class. It can be passed as an argument in constructor or managed class. So option 4 is the correct answer. So given some Java program here, so what is the output of this program? So this program is about the summation of the even numbers. So here if you check the condition here, if x%2 equals to 0. So here the x starts at 1, the loop will run while x less than or equals to 10. If x is even, then add x to the result. The even numbers between 1 to 10 are 2, 4, 6, 8 and 10. So the sum is equals to 30. So which is the answer of this particular program. So it will take the even numbers up to 10 and then it will perform the sum of these values. Okay. Which of the following statements are false? So this question is about the overloading and overriding statements. So only statement 1 is false because overloading happens at compile time while overriding occurs at runtime. And statement 2 is also true. Both the statement 1 and 2 are true here. So overloading happens at compile time, so which is the correct statement, and overriding occurs at the runtime. Whereas in statement 2, private methods belong only to the class itself and cannot be overridden. So which is also true. So both statements are true here. Next, what is the output of the following C program? So here, extern int a declares a as an external variable but doesn't define it. The definition here, int a equals to 20 is after the main function. In C, external variables must be defined before use in the same or a different file. Since a is not defined before use, this leads to a compilation error. That is the option 3. Error is the correct answer. What does the following statement, C statement, declare? So given the C statement here, so what is the correct answer? So here f is a pointer here and f points to a function, that is int star. Inside the parenthesis it confirms it is a function pointer. The function takes an integer pointer as an argument. The function returns an integer here. So here the correct option is a pointer to a function. So a pointer to a function that takes an integer pointer as an argument and returns an integer. So the option 4 is the correct answer. Which of the following is the inverse of the proportion P implies Q? So here the inverse is negation P implies negation Q. That means the reverse of the given statement. If mode and the mean of the data is 18 and 24 respectively, then what will be the median of the data? So here we have the formula mean minus mode equals to 3 into mean minus median. So here the mean value is 24 minus 18, that equals to 3 into mean minus median. So here the mean value is 18 minus median. So we had to find out the median value. So 6 by 3 equals to 18 minus median. That is 2. So here the median will be, so 18 plus 2 is 20, right? So median equals to, here I have wrongly written mean as 18 here in the last step. This is the correct one. So 3 into 24 minus m is the median. So here 6 equals to 3 into 24 minus m, that is a 326. So 2 equals to 24 minus m. So m equals to 24 minus 2, that is a 22. So that is the correct answer, option 1. How many ways are there to select 5 players from a 10-member tennis team for a match? So this is a combination problem. So to select 5 players from the 10 members, we can select them in 10C5 ways. So here the answer is 252. If we solve the 10C5, the answer is 252. A spade dice is rolled twice. Which of the following is the probability that an odd number will follow an even number? So normally a paired die has 6 numbers, right? So 1 to 6, we have the 1 to 6 numbers. And there are 3 even numbers and 3 odd numbers. So that is 3 even outcomes and 3 odd outcomes. The probability of rolling even first is 3 by 6 equals to 1 by 2. Right? So from the 6 outcomes, we are considering the only even 3 outcomes. Similarly here, the probability of rolling odd after even, so that is 3 by 6, that is 1 by 2. So total probability, that is probability of even first. So even first into probability of the odd after even, that equals to 1 by 4. So correct answer is 1 by 4. Next, 70th. Let P and Q be two proportions. Which of the following logical expressions are equivalent? So here option 2, that is expression 1, 2 and 3 are equivalent. Next, 71. Which of the following is not necessarily a property of a group? That is a commutative property. So actually group properties are closure, associativity, identity element, inverse element. Commutativity is not necessary for a group. It is only required for an abelian group. A dice is rolled thrice. A success is getting 1 or 6 on a roll. What is the mean and variance of the number of successes? So we'll solve this problem here. So a success is getting 1 or 6. That is the 2 favorable outcomes out of 6. So 1 or 6. So the probability of success P equals to 2 by 6. So there are 2 chances, right, of succeeding here. So of the 6 outcomes, we have the 2 chances. That is 1 by 3. And probability of failure. So probability of success and then probability of failure equals to Q equals to 1 minus P. So 1 minus P means 1 minus S here. So 1 minus S is 2 by 3. So probability of failure is 2 by 3. So since we roll 3 times, it follows a binomial distribution where n equals to 3 and P equals to 1 by 3. So here the mean formula, so consider the mean formula, N into P, that is 3 into 1 by 3, that is equals to mean is 1. Next, the variance formula is NPQ. So variance equals to N, P and Q value. So what is the Q value here? Failure value. So we are considering the success as P and fail value as Q. Okay. Now 3 into 1 by 3 into 2 by 3 NPQ. So we will get the answer as 2 by 3. Next one. Consider the binary relation R equals to x comma y, x comma z, z comma x, z comma y on the set x, y, z. Which of the following is true? So here option 4, it is neither symmetric nor anti-symmetric. So we know that a relation will be a symmetric one if it is following the property x comma y belongs to R and y comma x also belongs to the R. But this property is not satisfying here. Next. So that's why it is not symmetric as well as anti-symmetric. 74th one. X is uniformly distributed random variable that takes value between 0 and 1. What is the value of E of x power 3? So here the value is 1 by 4. Which of the following figures are lattice? A lattice is a partially ordered set where every pair of elements has a unique least upper bound, also called join, and a unique greatest lower bound, also called mean. So here the figure A likely fails to be a lattice because some pairs may not have unique least upper bound or greatest lower bound, whereas the figure B satisfies lattice properties. So that's why the option B is the lattice. So these are the first 75 questions in the part 1. I will explain the remaining questions in the next part. I hope this video is useful for you. Thanks for watching the video.